Hi everyone, I want to make a short video about my past, and it's going to be about Jehovah's Witnesses and why we stopped going to the Kingdom Hall. I mean, the Kingdom Hall. Um, that was kind of a Freudian slip. Plus, I got distracted because one of my neighbors is apparently outside because I heard their toddler scream. Okay. Anyway, that's not important to the story. That was just something that made me distracted. That is why I said the Kingdom Hill instead of Kingdom Hall. Anyway, yeah, why did we stop going to the meetings? Well, it is because, well, long story short, my parents got divorced. And since father had a driving license back then, he was the only one with a driver's license, so we drove 25 miles to the Kingdom Hall and then 25 miles back home every single weekend during 15 years. And that was extremely, that was a lot. Um, I have done the maps, and it is more than a whole lab around the world. And father spent that money uh, to the Kingdom Hall, on the fuel to the Kingdom Hall. But anyway, um, after their divorce, mother wanted to keep going to the meetings, but after she tried like a year, so we had to go to the bus station in my hometown. Then we went to then we were 30 minutes in that bus every single weekend, and then we had to take another bus to get to the Kingdom Hall. So it was 4 trips in buses, and that was extremely annoying. But but after that period of time, and that mother was trying to get back to the Kingdom Hall, there was actually an elder that came in to our apartment uninvited, and he told mother, if you don't get back to the Kingdom Hall, you will be alone with your children. And my beloved mother, she said, of course, they are my children. Uh, they are always a part of me, and they will always be a part of me. And well, after that meeting with the elder, he she had enough with his attitude, and I really want to say his name in this video because I want him to see this video, but I know that he doesn't speak English, so yeah. But still, in as a manner, um, after that time when he was at the kitchen with my mother and said those horrible words, I mean, when I found out what he said, I was like, okay, I had also enough on this because they're not real friends. And since we stopped going to the Kingdom Hall, we have been all alone. We haven't seen them for several years actually. And I can just say that the friendship that you have in the Kingdom Hall when the Jehovah's Witnesses is not real. It is fake. And I saw the whole congregation as my as I don't know, like family. I saw them as family members, and my two best friends, I saw their families like a part of my family too. And every single time I think about it, yeah, I cherish the great memories, but it's still just a conditional friendship because I knew that when we were going to stop going to the meetings, we weren't going to hang out with them anymore, and that did stress me out a lot. And now, after several years, I can just tell you that it is better to be alone instead of getting to know people, because when you have friends, you have something to lose. And when we stopped going to the meetings, I lost so many people, so many close people in my life. But I also remember that when I was a teenager, like 16, 15, 17 years old, maybe, I was going to study the Bible with Jiminy, with someone of them. I will just call him Jiminy Tinkerbell, because that's his real name, translated to English. Anyway, he, I saw him as a wise person back then, but now when I think about the things that he said, it was just nonsensical things. He asked me once, "Do you know why there are so many types of fruits in this planet and game world?" And I said, "No, why?" And he said, "Because God, Jehovah, want us to taste the sweet uh, sugar from the fruits." And I was like, okay, but where in the Bible does it say that? And he also, we were going to talk about the story of about the Jesus' birth, I guess. And he told me, okay, we are going to talk about that story. And I was like, the story about the three wise men. And he said, Gabriel, he raised his voice and said, Gabriel, who said it was three wise men? He was so condescending towards me. I didn't appreciate his attitude back then. So I stopped studying the Bible, and the final straw was when he said that the Christians, like Catholics, the Christians that have the Christian cross have actually a weapon, because that cross is representing a knife. And even back then, I was thinking that's a really weird thing to say about other Christians. And yeah, everything was weird. And I heard that toddling, and anyway, um, but yeah, I am actually kind of lost for words right now, because Jehovah's Witnesses say that they are extremely loving people, but they're not loving people, because their love is conditional. If you stop going to the meetings, they will stop being with you. And yeah, I like I said at the beginning of the video. Long story short, we stopped going to the meetings because of my parents' divorce, and I can tell you that that's the best thing that could happen to our family, because if my parents wouldn't get divorced, we would still. I would probably be baptized as a Jehovah's Witness, but at the same time, I doubt it because, well, I can just say that the Bible study that I had with him, it wasn't a study, it was his own opinions and beliefs about, well, about God himself, because he said that God cannot lie, but at the same time, in the Bible, God has done worse things, like the global flood, Noah's Ark, a mass genocide, and the Bible itself is yes a horrendous book, and I also did read a comment in the ex Jehovah's Witness community that not a single human being has that reads the Bible can be a Jehovah's Witness, and I agree because I mean I don't want to think about this that much, but I'm so disappointed right now because Watchtower won against Norway, and Norway, they, I mean, Norway doesn't know every single thing and every single story about ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and I hope that my story can contribute and help someone else, because I have read so many stories and I have heard so many stories in YouTube too. So that is why I want to share my story and the consequences. And yeah, the teachings about Armageddon has basically ruined a big part of my life. But I don't want this video to be any longer, so I'm just going to end the video right here and right now. I hope that you have a good day. Ciao.